The investigators found a younger female, probably at that point late teens, early 20s, lying on her back.
Douglas County deputies called in the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to help process the disturbing scene.
She was nude from the waist down, but wearing socks. Those are strong indicators that this is a sex assault murder. It appeared that she had some kind of gag around her face and mouth, and it looked like her hands were bound behind her back. When they rolled her body over, it was clear that she had been stabbed numerous times.
It was dark and wet where she had been bleeding into the ground. So they knew that this was probably where she was killed since there was so much blood there.
You can't get a scene that has more tragedy in it. No one knew who this individual was. Law enforcement was really at that point just starting from scratch. Who is this in the field? How did she get here? And what happened to her?
Investigators scoured the area, looking for evidence.
Although crime scenes outside are very complicated and difficult, they can also be law enforcement's friends. And in this case, investigators at the time were able to have good tire impressions and shoe impressions of the suspect because it was frozen into the ground.
You can see that there are two sets of footprints going in and only one set coming out. And they look like they were like a boot, like a cowboy boot. So we now know that the crime scene occurred here because this person is
Match what they found on the bloody knife. A teen follows friends in day and night, looking for the right time to secretly.
The day that it actually set in with Denise and I was the day of her funeral. Then we realized Mary is not coming home.
I remember David's funeral, carrying his casket, and there's still this disbelief this hadn't happened. I first met David, I can't remember exactly if it was 8th or 9th grade. David was a new guy in school, and he was just a laid-back guy. He laughed a lot.
David was very kind, considerate. He was married to a sweet girl and had just found out that they were pregnant and was over the moon, just living life large.
And then I remember the funeral ending. It was back to this, why aren't they doing something? Why hadn't there been an arrest made? The events that happened are almost like an anchor that drew me in the direction of law enforcement. Made a decision to go to the academy to become a police officer.
Law enforcement were talking to all of the ne'er-do-wells in town. Jim Earl Mankins Jr. was just generally kind of known as one of the local troublemakers. His father was a former state legislator who was very well respected, Jim Earl Mankins Sr., but Jr. had problems with the law for a number of years. He was a known drug dealer.
They bring Jimmy Mankins Jr. in to be questioned. He willingly comes in, does a non-custodial interview, and they end up examining his hand.
Wells might be facing the rest of his life in prison, but once again, he cheats justice.
Approximately 2 weeks after his arrest, we came to work and started receiving texts from our PIO. He said, Wells committed
side, I felt very, very cheated. I wanted him to go to trial. I wanted the jury or the people or the judge to say, yes, based on the evidence we have, testimony, and all the information, yes, you are guilty.